everyone, it's Tania Gabrielle here, Wealth Astro-Numerologist, and welcome back to Star Codes. This is the forecast where we look at a very important celestial event in the stars and numbers to get insights that help us navigate the energy in the best way possible. In this case, it's going to be the Leo new moon. I'm actually really excited about this new moon because it happens during a time where there's a major celestial event, and we're going to go into that in a minute. First of all, the Leo new moon happens on July 28th at 6:55 p.m. Universal Time, which is 1:55 p.m. Eastern New York and 10:55 a.m. LA Pacific Time. And the two fives actually are important in this case. The numerology in the stars echoes the number 5 in that the sun and moon will be at 5 degrees Leo. And what's so stunning is that Leo also rules in astrology the 5th house. And later we're going to discover another number that is connected to the lion energy as well. So more on that in a few minutes. But first, let's look at the fact that the 5th house is all about romance. Leo is about having fun, standing up for yourself, being childlike, being creative. Leo is a royal sign, so it governs leaders as well. And it's the sign that governs your heart. So it is intimately connected to feeling love. So it's a very important time in general around the Leo new moon to awaken to the love that you naturally are and that you were created from. So what makes this Leo new moon so beautiful is a double trine from Jupiter in Aries to the new moon. Now, Jupiter governs Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. Aries is a fire sign. That's where Jupiter is currently navigating through. And Leo is a fire sign. So in a sense, by virtue of this trine, which is a double trine because we have the sun and moon, because of that double trine from Jupiter in Aries to Leo, and Jupiter being the ruler of Sagittarius, it's like a grand trine of fire. So there is a lot of passion here and forward momentum and new beginnings, Aries being the first sign. And this is really the main focal point of the lighting the fire internally so that you really connect to your true source, the source of your heart, which is love. Your heart is the connection to God, to Mother, Father, God. So what's going to help make this happen is a more tense aspect. And tense aspects are the oppositions and squares and occasionally also the conjunctions. So Mercury is opposite to Saturn, and both create a T-square to a very rare event, and that is a conjunction with Mars and Uranus, which will actually be exact July 31st and August 1st, and the North Node. So the North Node will join with Mars and Uranus, and this has not happened in a long time. In fact, the last time was 300 BC, 324 BC. So it's been almost 2,400, 2,500 years. So it's a very big event. The North Node represents our future. Mars and Uranus are very fast-moving planets. When they get together, surprises happen and breakthroughs happen and rockets take off fast. There's the unexpected nature of things and also new beginnings as well, because the disruption is literally creating space for old paradigms to fall away, and that's represented by the Mercury opposite Saturn part of the T-square, Saturn being the old paradigms and the old structures. So this is really big, and because it hasn't happened, this actual connection between these three, North Node, Uranus, and Mars, in so long, and it coincides with a Leo new moon and with this opposition T-square between Mercury and Saturn, which create this T-square, which you can see right here in the chart. You see this red triangle, and that represents the T-square, and at the apex of the triangle you will see Mars, Uranus, and the North Node. So basically, you are emerging from a dream, and we're going to go into that dream in a moment. But initially, what you'll discover is that your powers of concentration are stronger. This is a wonderful opportunity for serious analysis, serious conversations, and you may feel your energy more restricted because of the Saturn-Mercury opposition and T-square. And at the same time, you're yearning for so much independence and freedom because of Uranus and Mars. So prepare for surprising developments. Take a lot of deep breaths. And remember that we are in the 2020s, which amplified the 2000s, which we entered just, 22 years ago. And the number 2 literally is that connection. It's two sides, right? Connecting to each other, which is why the internet and mobile phones really took off once we moved into the 2000s, because we're connecting more than ever. And so the most important connection, of course, is the one to your heart, which is represented by Leo in the physiology of astrology. The connection to your heart is the number 1 line to love and laughter. And remember that double trine to Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet representing joy, happiness, and laughter. And Mercury is a planet of humor. Mercury is opposite Saturn. So Mercury is also breaking free in order to bring more laughter and not be so serious. So there's a little bit of a push and pull with his opposition to Saturn. And Mercury saying it's time to humor what's going on, because some of it is just, very oppressive, and we need to shed some light on it. And Leo helps with that, by the way, because Leo is ruled by the sun, the bringer of light, our star. So you are now fully engaging during this time. You really feel your full engagement to help cleanse this planet of those old cobwebs, those webs of corruption and dishonesty that have been an aspect of the whole illusion, the dream. And so now let's look at that illusion, because it was created for a purpose, as everything is created for a purpose. The reason the illusion was created is to experience a sense of freedom, because it gives us the freedom to move away from our natural state of love. So for each person to live with little consideration or little compassion for others, which has been very noticeable in the last thousands of years, that's their choice. Sometimes individual survival was considered above all other human needs. And as this freedom then to explore in this dream state took hold, that natural sense that we are all one became like a dream. It didn't seem real. So then, hence, a lot of the love and the compassion and kindness and joining together was taken out of our sacred ceremonies, our religions. It was not fostered in education through discovering our intuition and connecting through the heart, taken out of health, taking out of social constructs, obviously politics, and also the arts. So love then became a lot more hidden from our conscious reality, our conscious awareness, while survival and competition took center stage. And, people tuned in more to, we only have one life. We have to use it to the maximum, take advantage of the limited time we have on Earth. and the resources we have at our disposal. And that kind of perspective really fostered this self-centeredness and a lack of regard for others, because it was about me and my life, and also a lack of consideration for planet Earth. So in the last decades, really since the harmonic conversions, so I would say since the 1980s or so, even starting in the 1970s, more and more people have considered being of service rather than being in servitude or self-centered, which are paradoxically related. So being in service in some capacity has slowly bubbled into the surface, which means not just taking a job and collecting your paycheck at the end of the month, the end of the week, but looking at the activities of the organization that they work for to see if that organization and the people who work for it and run it honor humanity, honor compassion, honor the planet. So in this way, the unthinking, unself-aware blindness, the blind acceptance has become progressively less, especially since we entered the 2000s and in particular the 2020s. So people have become more curious about how their actions support or negate other people's lives. And that consideration of others has really blossomed. So this new moon in Leo, coming with this very rare event that includes the North Node and breaking through, really the rocket taking off, the North Node being our future. We're really, really considering how our actions impact the future. And since Leo governs leaders, royalty, and there's a powerful T-square, there's really a lot of tension now with leadership positions and who's at the helm and how they are leading and whether that is for the greater good. Now, at the helm of this T-square, of course, is that Uranus-Mars North Node in Taurus. And let's talk about Taurus for a minute, because Taurus is the sign of our physical resources. The Taurus represents pleasure, and it represents food and security, and it is literally our body and the pleasure we experience. It is ruled by Venus, so it governs financial flow and beauty as well, what we value, and it's very physical. So our physical surroundings are now changing, and that could mean earth events. It can definitely mean your own surroundings, what you choose to have in your life. Are you paying more attention to, for example, the kind of bedding you use, just to throw something out there, the food you eat, of course, the materials that are in your home, are they emitting fumes or are they natural and create harmony in your life? So all of this, is coming into our awareness. So we're becoming a lot less unself-aware. Now, Mercury opposite Saturn, Mercury is square to Uranus and Mars in the North Node as well. And these planets are creating this tense connection at this juncture in time in order to help break through the corruption, right? So Uranus provides the electricity, and Uranus square Mercury govern the airwaves. So breakthrough information, which will also be revealed in the media. It's already starting, and there's going to be a lot more as Mars fires up the passion and courage to directly address the truth and the underlying cobwebs, expose them to the public domain. Saturn represents the old structures that are being exposed and stripped away, but Saturn also represents time and Chronos. It's time. The timing is right. And Saturn in Aquarius is important as well. That square between Saturn and Aquarius began last year, and there were 3 meetings. There's one more nearly exact meeting, you could pretty much call it exact, and that happens in October, and this new moon in Leo activates it. So between now and the end of the year, there is really almost like a celebration of the cleansing energy that's happening on Earth. So Saturn in Aquarius, that's Uranus's sign. So it gives Uranus even more juice. And Uranus is in Taurus. So really what is most dear to us, what is most immediate in our life is going to be really, not really turned upside down, but looked at in a new way that is healthy for the future. Remember, Aquarius rules the 11th house, which is the house of groups and the future. And Uranus and Aquarius are the breakthrough signs. They go beyond our present awareness into galactic awareness, looking at tangential subjects and considering things we hadn't thought of before. So they're really the politically incorrect part of the astrology wheel, and they also represent the exciting breakthroughs you get from the divination arts, astrology and numerology. They govern those. So all the perspectives that we are receiving now by looking at these celestial events and the numerology behind them is really important. Now, speaking of the numerology, let's go back to the number 5, because we have this new moon at 5 degrees. And 5 is the number of freedom. And 5 represents a pivot point. It faces left and right. It sits on a rocker. It has straight lines and curves. And so it literally represents, I can take any path I want. I'm at the top of the mountain and I have a lot of choices and decisions to make. So that's the freedom part of it. Now, what's so exciting is the date, 7/28/2022, adds up to 23. So 23 is the universal date, and 23 in numerology is the royal star of the lion number. So we have a lot of lion-hearted energy here, which is so beautiful because it reminds us of love and how courage, which represents the lion-hearted energy, is a word derived from cœur, in French, love. So we have this reminder that you are love, you are one, it's how you were created, and this can't change ever. The separation from source never happened. It's an illusion. Remember that the 2020s and the 2000s and the 21st century are reminding us of this divine truth, this divine connection. So it's really important to now see that we're waking up to understand that we can choose to return to be awake, and that all it takes is an intention to do so. Just by setting an intention to do so, you actually are fostering that connection. And that's how powerful you are, because doing this is the Great Awakening. Making the choice now to wake up to your eternal connection to love is the choice that you have at your disposal. That's the freedom now. It's come full circle. So awakening to the love that you are and sharing that love, which is the next step. So this is why you're here at this moment in human history. So take the time daily to go within your heart through whatever meditative practice you do. It can be walking, listening to music, talking to your guides, right? It is literally inviting love and appreciation, gratitude into your life to embrace you and allow energy to flow abundantly from you to all sentient life. Everything has a divine purpose. There are no accidents, and our purpose is to awaken and support others to do so as well. And not through persuasion, but by demonstrating love in action. So your divine purpose is simply being you, being love. And you have the most powerful support. It's represented by Leo. You have enthusiastic encouragement, symbolized by Leo. You can call on your guides and other beings of light and love to assist you. And remember, the sun and moon are trying to Jupiter, and that infuses you with gratitude, happiness, kindness, expansion, and it creates this effortless bliss. So you feel free to share your heart with others. Now, There's one more transit that's really lovely that happens during this Leo new moon, and that is Venus is sextile to Mars. And this also magnifies feelings for love, feelings for affection, passion, be creatively engaged, on fire. Remember that Jupiter is in Aries, which is Mars's sign. So there's a real strong urge to feel that passion, to feel the connection to the royal star of the lion that you are. The strength of the lion, the strength of Leo are within you. The lion leads, the lion loves, Leo encourages. This is all about creativity and shining your light. And so you're being invited to be more spontaneous, more playful, more generous, more courageous, more loving, and appreciative of who you are, who you truly are. So I wish you a beautiful Leo new moon. And remember, your inner star is revealed in your star code. And your star code is revealed through your birthday, your day of birth, your life purpose, your destiny, your astrology numbers, your astrology connections between the planets and the sun, your houses, and we go into all of it for you in a free masterclass at starcodeclass.com. It is designed for you to discover who you are and who others are so you can have more compassion for them and appreciate them at soul level. It includes a free handout. It's a really fun 90-minute free masterclass that I created for you. So head on over to starcodeclass.com. Have a beautiful Leo new moon, and I'll see you again next week for our next Star Codes podcast. Lots of love.